What's your favourite based on a true story sports movie?
Rudy.
Yeah, Rudy. That's
100%.
a
It's
great
got to
one.
be Rudy. Great story.
Phantom Menace. I know it's a totally true story in a galaxy far away.
Ben Quantineros.
Yeah, absolutely rigged.
Like, I didn't realize at the time, but after that pod race, he became like the pod race champion year after year. Like, he won.
Quadraneros.
He won like consecutive races and like world champ.
That's what we call
Are you sure?
resilience.
Yeah. On his like wiki page, it has him as like 5-time, not world champion, but like pod racing champion.
Well, in Legends, he was murdered by a Sith Lord. Like,
What?
pretty much straight after, because he owed him 50,000 credits. And he's
I
supposed
guess-
to earn that back in the race.
I guess that's the problem with like Star Wars lore is you've got canon, sub-canon, the whole...
What a hero, though, because, he was the first Southern Hemisphere alien to
Southern Galaxy.
Southern Galaxy to win a pod race in Tatooine.
Okay, yeah, 2 very good ones. What about Cool Runnings?
What's that? No, I'm kidding. Amazing movie. I haven't actually watched it. I've only seen bits of it, which is funny. So this will be a good story
You
for
haven't
me.
seen the movie?
No, I'm not really much of a movie person in general, to be honest. Unless someone forces me to watch it, then I don't normally seek out movies. But who knows? I might be seeking this one out after today.
Ben, so you've seen it then.
I've seen Cool Runnings, yeah.
What percentage of Cool Runnings do you think is accurate? Because these based on a true story, the premise they take, and then they have some liberties.
I'd probably say... I think as a minimum you need around 60% of it to be true for it to then be based on a true story. So I'm going to probably say 60 to 65%.
Well, the director of the movie, John Turteltaub. Yeah, it's a
Turtle Tab.
yeah, it's a name. It's a name. He is quoted saying, "You could never get away today with the changes we made to the true story." And one of the characters in the story that I'm going to tell you, George Fitch, he estimates that less than 1% of the movie Cool Runnings is true. So I'm going to tell you the real story.
Okay, well then how can it be based on a true story?
Well,
What's more accurate, Titanic or Cool Runnings? I feel like Titanic's kind of accurate. Like, it's plausible.
I've never seen all of Titanic in one go, but I reckon I've seen all of it just because, like, growing up, it was on free to air, like, multiple times, and I just come and watch different parts of it.
I don't think I've ever seen it at all.
See, this
I don't
is
think I've
interesting.
ever seen
I
it.
have seen Titanic many times, but it's because people have made me watch it.
Today's Wild Sports story is the real story of the 1988 Jamaican Bobsled team. Hello and welcome to the Wild World of Sport podcast, the show where 3 friends sit down, crack a couple beers, and go on a journey to try and find the wildest story from the world of sport. My name is James Wybrow, and I am the bobsled driver of today's episode.
Are they the driver?
Yeah,
That's the name of them.
that's the name. The guy in front's the driver, the guy behind's the brakes, and then the other 2 are the crewmen.
I'm James' brother Ben, no relation, the question asker, I guess.
If my coffee order this morning is to be believed, I am Colin. Collin. No, I'm Carlin Sheaves. Apparently not, though.
That's a good one.
Do they
never
have a
get it
steering wheel?
A steering wheel? No.
Is it just like a joystick?
It's just them in it.
Oh, so they're not even driving.
Well, so, all right, bobsledding.
We'll get to it, I guess.
Okay.
I'll jump into what bobsledding is. So it's these sort of giant metal shells that you go down a track at extreme speeds.
It's a little bit like Mario Kart.
A little bit. Could say it's a little bit like Mario Kart. So there's the 2-man and 2-woman, and then the 4-man event. There's no 4-woman event as of yet. Maximum weight of a sled in the 2-man is 390 kilograms.
Because you want it to be heavier for then you have more inertia to then
Yeah,
increase
how does
your
that
speed.
work? Because it's like, are there weight requirements or something? Would you, like, I don't know how the physics of bobsledding work, but
I'm
it's
sure-
like, do you want to be really big?
I'm sure there's an optimal mass for it then to then be able to be brought up to the speed to then maintain speed. Also the maneuverability. I imagine.
I could imagine there's tactics too. It's like who you want to be a driver. Maybe I don't know. Maybe James knows, but like maybe you would want them to be smaller or something so that they have less impact. I don't know.
Well, this
Yeah.
weight isn't for the actual sled. This is sled plus athletes plus equipment. The maximum is 390. The minimum's 170.
Might be a silly question, but like the bobsled, is it track, course, tunnel, like tube? Is there like the track? Is that the same one they use for like skeleton and luge, or are they different tracks?
No, they're the same track.
The same one.
It's basically like ice luge, in a way.
Yeah.
But luge, like, don't you actually do control it rather than just tipping?
I mean, tipping is controlling it.
I think I think you do just lean in luge as well. I'm not sure because if you're lying down, you're not gonna have a steering wheel.
I guess so. Yeah, that
Unless
makes
it's
sense.
like
It's
levers on either side.
those skaters, like the skateboard people who like do like the speed runs down hills and stuff when they like land flat as well. It's funny because it's speed skating, but it's not speed skating. Anyway,
so that's a little bit about bobsledding. At the Olympics, you have 4 timed runs. So it's your 4 timed runs all added together to get your total time. If you crash, you're disqualified.
just any of your races you crash.
Any of you,
GG.
could be the last turn of the 4th race and you crash,
So
disqualified.
you need to complete all your
need to
races
complete all
count.
4. Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
And like I guess disqualifications, like if any of you touches past like the foul line, because I know like you start by pushing it and then you jump in. So then if you like don't cross the line, because if you fall out, can you like get up and then push it over the finish line?
That's disqualified. That's a crash.
Oh, so in Cool Runnings, that didn't even count when they crashed and pushed it over the line.
Yeah, they were already disqualified.
Oh,
And-
and made it seem a lot more
Yeah,
powerful.
and I'll get to that. That's one of the historical inaccuracies that was in the movie.
How fast do the bobsleds get?
So they can get up to roughly 93 miles per hour, so 150 kilometers an hour.
But
can be
are they
going.
mechanically assisted?
Imagine Mitchell Stark bowling a bobsled at you.
Jesus Christ.
That's going
It's like a car like on a highway.
And so the most crucial part of bobsled is the first 50-meter push, because that's the only time that you can generate power and speed yourself. The rest is just gravity. And you can go a bit quicker by going into the turns better like a race car does. But it's all about that initial push-off at the start.
Kind of like in, what's it, curling?
Yeah, you've got to get the power. You can only do so much
It's like
to slow
obviously
it down
they'll
and movement.
like scrub and everything, but it's like it's all about how you release it.
So let's go to Jamaica. Talk about how this team was created. So it was 2 investors from the USA. One of them, George Fitch, he was the United States Department of Commerce man in the Caribbean in 1984. And he was friends with businessman William Maloney. And together they thought Jamaica's a really successful, for their size and population, Olympic nation. They've got all these sprinters, they do all this track stuff. Wonder how they'd be at winter stuff. Why don't they do any winter events?
I wonder.
The climate is
That's
probably
And so I thought,
Scratching my head.
what event could we get Jamaica to the Winter Olympics for? And they thought bobsled, because the movie sort of gets this part right of the pushcart derbies that are held in Jamaica. So the pushcarts are these wooden contraptions, sort of like a billy cart, like we make in
I was going to
Australia.
say like the thing in the Red Bull thing.
Oh, like the soapbox racing.
Yeah, the
cars?
soapbox racing where they have the funny cars and they race around.
Yeah, it's a bit like that. But in Jamaica, they use these to transport items to and from markets. It's sort of like their shopping trolleys or bags or their cars that they use this for. And so in 1975, the first pushcart derby was organised and they raced them down the hills. And watching that, they thought, this is...
Basically bobsledding.
Yeah, it's similar. It's close. And so these carts reach about 60 miles per hour, so 96 kilometers per hour, so a bit slower, but the general premise is similar. And so they thought, let's make a team. So they put out an open call to Jamaica if anyone was interested in trying to join this team. How many applicants do you think they got?
4.
It's
Actually, no, 3. I reckon
It's
they were
either
one
going to be
shot.
0 or it's going to be... I guess it depends how it was promoted. If it's like, hey, do you want a job? or hey, sign up and do this thing. I'm going to say either 0 or 4,300.
I'm gonna say 3, and then they're like, we need someone's mate to like come do it or something, like for the last one. So that's what I'm guessing.
Well, you're both close, but Carlin, you're very close for a different part of the story that I'll get to. But Ben, one of those was correct. Do you want to guess which one was correct?
Well, if we're both close, I'm going to go with the 4,300.
No one volunteered. I'll explain how Carlin's close when we get to that part
Also,
of
it was
the
a
story.
volunteer thing. It wasn't a paid position.
No, who wants to come and trial and do this? And no one volunteered. So our two investors, George and William, Fitch and Maloney, they had a buddy that was a colonel in the Jamaican army. So they said, hey, can you recruit some of your athletic army guys to come and trial for us? And so Dudley Stokes, he is the driver of the bobsled team. He was one of the first to be put onto the team. There was also Devon Harris. He was the brakeman. He was a soldier and radio operator in the army. And Michael White. He was the crewman of the bobsled. He was a lieutenant and a former middle distance runner who had Olympic ambitions. So in
Winter Olympic ambitions.
Well, he does now. In Cool Runnings, it's a sprinter who has Olympic ambitions, who then starts the bobsled team. Not quite the same in the real story.
What are the crewmates do? Are they just like they'll go off the leaning that the driver does?
Yeah.
And support,
They're
but like
sus.
Yeah, they're there with that because a two-man is smaller than a four-man bobsled for obvious reasons. And so the crewmen in the 4 are there just to help turn with it. Yes?
Is there a Paralympic bobsled?
that's a good question.
Yeah,
Don't know.
that feels like something that
Could be
would
quite
be
accessible. Could be.
Yeah,
In
like
theory, but it'd be hard. Maybe depending on your disability, it might be hard to push.
Well, I guess it might be hard to then determine like because they do different like classes of how much your disability impacts your athletic ability. So like someone who has like the blades for legs compared to someone who only has one arm, how would you like class them for a team to have the same amount? I guess is probably difficult.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Maybe that could be my next story, is Paralympic bobsledding.
What if they just went down in a wheelchair? Luge.
That's kind
wheelchair
of like
bobsled.
luge or skeleton, isn't it? You're just kind of on a little...
Sounds even more dangerous, the wheels and sitting up. Back to it. Dudley Stokes. He was on holiday when the order, not the request, not asking, because he's in the military. He was ordered to go to the trials. And that's how he thought of it, that he wasn't just joining the Olympic team for a bit of fun. He was ordered to go to the bobsled trials. So they did boxcar trials of their derby sort of thing they do. That's sort of how they trialed them. And the coach of the team was former American bobsledder Howard Siller. He came 5th place in the 4-man event in 1980 and won a bronze at the World Championships. So not quite the same as John Candy's character, who was a disgraced, disqualified Olympic gold medalist. This guy, Siller, like clean record, stand-up guy.
I mean, I don't know if you're going to jump to this later in stories, maybe chop this, but the one thing I do know about, like the whole cool running story, I think, I could be totally wrong, this coach guy, doesn't he, like he still is like works for them, doesn't he? Like he's just hanging around with the Winter Olympic
Yeah, there's another guy,
in Jamaica.
Pat Brown, and he's still coaching the Jamaican bobsled team now, which is pretty cool.
I know there's like a Futurama reference where they go like, now they're all like alcohol sales people or like, what's the word? Reps for like alcohol companies.
Yeah,
or spokespeople.
This won't be verbatim, but Hermes is in a bobsled and Zoidberg goes, "You in a bobsled?" Hermes goes, "It's a proud Jamaican tradition. They were at the 1988 Olympics." He goes, "I remember that. They came in dead last and went on to promote alcoholic beverages." And Hermes like, "Yes, a true inspiration for the children."
I remember that now.
And that's not untrue. Some of them did go on to promote alcohol because it was such a big phenomenon. They had lots of advertising deals, things like that. But that was after. Before, they didn't have a lot of money. It's expensive to, train, pay people, get bobsleds, go to the Olympics. So the early cash that they got was from the Jamaican Tourism Board. So little hint there that maybe they weren't going to compete at a super high level, and no one thought that was the point. and it is more of a bit of a publicity stunt.
Yeah, we can see that if like the tourism board's giving them money for it.
Fitch himself invested $92,000, and that was to help them get to the World Championships. And the team sold caps and T-shirts, and these were very sought after
And
at
alcohol.
the Olympic Village and at the Olympics in 1998. And there was also a song, Hobbin and a Bobbin, the Jamaican Bobsled theme song. And so the royalties from that song were used to help fund their trip
So-
a little bit.
They just like the musician just like, oh, let's write this.
Oh,
And
this is awesome. Bobsled team? Sure.
they're very community-minded people. It seems like they get
Yeah.
money from all over the place.
Yeah, Jamaica's got a great community there. So the trials themselves, Devon Harris quoted saying, "The first day we turned up at the National Stadium in Kingston, they showed us footage of old bobsled crashes. The usual stuff where the sled flips over and slides at 100 miles per hour. There were some horrific looking ones in which a man in the back flew out of the sled and skimmed off the top of the track and ended up in the crowd. There were about 40 of us in that day, and the next day, only about 20 people turned up for the trials proper."
This feels like some sort of like Mikel Arteta thing. It's just like you watch this video, look at them crash, but look, they get back up. Something like that. Like, why are they showing?
I thought
crashes?
no one showed up to the trials and they had to pay the military. Or is this a later?
This is
set of
when
trials?
they've got the military in. They
Oh,
they
so
put
they
out
ordered-
an open trial like
Yeah.
casting. No one applied for it. So they got the military and said, "Send us some people for it."
So then they sent the 40 people and 20 went, no.
Yeah, like, this is too dangerous for me. And so then they whittled them down to 5. So there was the 3 I mentioned before, Dudley, Devon, and Michael. They added Freddie Powell and Caswell Allen to the team.
Caswell Allen, that's a very good name.
There's a lot of good names there.
And I will say at this stage, they were only planning on entering a 2-man team.
Right. But they had 5 people, so they were going to chop 3 off at some stage.
Yeah. Well, you never
do you
know.
need
You want to
spares?
have spares. Like, you don't bring 11 people when you go into the World Cup for soccer.
Yeah, but that's a game. Like, you don't substitute someone on a bobsled as they go down. Like, I feel like you just cut your losses and go, oh, well, whatever. Like, it's like an individual thing. It's like, oh, no, Usain's hurt his ankle. Guess he's not racing now.
But I mean, if you're doing 2, you can't just bring 2 because if someone gets injured or is sick or something happens, then the other person
it's a big
can't
ask
go.
to have subs. For
And if
like
you're doing the 4
bobsledding.
runs, could you have like
It's the same
person
the
A,
same
B?
people.
Yeah, you can't swap it
You
out.
can't
Then
swap
if
them
someone
out.
gets injured or sick.
I suppose
same
even the
people.
legendary Stephen Bradbury was benched.
Yeah,
So
it happens. So the training itself, this was only 6 months before the games that they organised this. We talked about last episode how
like,
long
start to finish? They're like, oh,
Yeah.
conceive the idea.
Yeah, set it up, get everyone training.
How did they have time to qualify?
Yeah.
I'll tell you about that. So they set it up sort of 6 months before the games, all this happening. 4 months before the games, they started training properly. They went to the US and trained on a frozen Lake Placid in New York with the USA team. And Jamaica, if you remember in Cool Runnings, they get to Calgary and they're like, whoa, we're seeing snow for the first time. They'd seen snow before they went to the Olympics, but this was the first time that they were on ice. And so they were slipping and sliding everywhere. They said they spent more time on the ground than they did actually pushing the bobsled, because the main part of this training was just pushing the sled, because you can't practice bobsled and all the turns when you're not on a bobsled track. And like I said, the most crucial part is your push-off to get a good time. Obviously, you need to be able to maneuver and safely get down to the bottom, but you're not going to be able to win if you don't have a good push-off to start. So they, after being in Lake Placid, they came back to Jamaica. They trained with a makeshift sled on a concrete hill, and hours and hours and hours a day, pushing it up, going down, pushing it up, going down, training for that.
Awful.
Yeah.
For 6 months.
You're probably thinking you're getting your military pension after this, though.
I guess so. Like, are they being paid? Are they on the clock for this? I assume not.
I think because I didn't see an exact explanation of how they were getting reimbursed for this, because I don't just think it was the love of the Olympics because they were military guys. I think it was part of their military stuff, so they were still getting paid there because the Jamaican Tourism Board was funding part of this.
Right.
So Jamaica sent a fighting force to Canada.
Yeah,
Sent
send
the
the
military
army
to
in.
Canada
Yeah.
for the Winter Olympics.
But you asked before, Ben, don't they need to qualify? Yes, They did need to qualify. And the way you qualified was entering a world event. And so they...
Just enter.
Well, enter and compete.
Do you basically just have to, like, not DNF? Like, if you finish, then it's like, nice, good job.
You've got to finish, and then you go, cool. So they went to Austria. This is where Fitch's $92,000 comes in. He helped take them to Austria, and they trained there, and they entered, and they actually did better than you'd thought. So there was 41 teams that competed. Where do you think they finished out of 41?
What? So is this like a world championships of bobsledding in Austria?
Like these are major, like,
Yeah.
is it like 41 teams or 41 countries?
41 teams. So
it's like
countries
6
have
from the US or
multiple
something. Okay,
competitors.
Well, they're still probably going to be better than like the third string Finnish team.
I think doing surprisingly well, I'm going to say 27th.
Like qualifying, I know like you just have to compete, but also there's like a limit to how many people can compete. If it's like a 3-minute run on the bobsled and you got 20 countries, that's an hour and you have to do 4 runs. I'm going to say 15th.
I'm
They did really
assuming-
well, like amazingly well 15th.
Like at this stage, they've decided to enter the 4-man one. This is a 4-man
Nah,
race, right?
This is a 2-man race.
So this is a 2-man race. What the heck? Did they enter 2 teams?
No, they just entered 1 team.
How do you qualify by doing the 2-man race? So,
Yeah, for the 4-man.
You'll have to...
okay,
Wait.
we're waiting. We're waiting.
So they
15th.
15th, they came 34th out of 41.
Okay.
So not terrible, not the worst. Better than you might think for some people that had only a couple months before started bobsledding for the first time.
I mean, I might be asking too many questions. It's like, are the people below, like, they just did not finish or something? Because, like, you can't imagine there's that many, like, people that would have done actually worse than them. Like, they must have been disqualified.
I didn't find the full rankings of this. There is the Olympic rankings that are official, and they're all easily accessible, that I've got some of them.
Maybe it's like you've got the second team or third team, or like the junior teams competing. Like you've got the like A grade teams, like adults, athletes. Like the military men, they're probably pretty fit. But then you've got like, here's the under 18s who are competing. They're our junior team, but we're bringing them to the world championship. They just don't have that same like muscle, mass power.
Impressive, nonetheless.
So then after that, they qualified, keep training. They headed to Calgary to really ramp up all their efforts and training. And Dudley Stokes said, aside from the many differences in plot, the real life experience was harder. It was tough and gritty. It wasn't much fun, and there wasn't much laughing. As far as I was concerned, I was the ranking officer there, and I needed to get things done.
I hate ice. It's tough. It's gritty.
So very like militaristic mindset from them here. They're not here to have fun. They're here to compete and work hard and do the job that they're there for.
Well, I know like in the movie, they have to like all move their heads at the same time for like the aerodynamics and the weight transfer in it. So I guess, militaries are meant to be well-oiled machines where you work as a collective for the same outcome. So maybe that works pretty well for bobsledding.
Yeah, and sort of regardless how well they do and where they finish, it's a good advertisement for the athletic capabilities of the military, that a bunch of guys who'd never done this sport, that you need to be synchronized and know exactly what the other people are doing, are able to come and compete at the Olympics for it. They're able to qualify.
It's like what we do with like the Invictus Games. Like service people compete in like, Olympic events to then just go, look how strong our military and how
I was
capable
going to say too, it's like generally being in the military. Like obviously our definition of sport is broad, but we've got combat sports and stuff like that. It's a toll. You are a sports person to be in the military. You got to be incredibly fit.
So when they got to Calgary, they dropped down from the 5 people to 3 people. I couldn't see exactly when, but Caswell Allen was injured pretty early on in their training. I'm not sure if that referred to their training on Lake Placid, their training in Jamaica, or their training in Calgary, but he's out. And then Freddie Powell, he dropped out of the team entirely. So they're left with just the 3 of them.
Right.
And again, I couldn't see exactly when this happens in the timeline. I imagine, it'd have to be after they've qualified. So after Austria, but I'm not sure how close to the Olympics. The IOC said that they would not allow Jamaica to compete at the Olympics in bobsled.
Because
Because it's a laughingstock. They're not actually athletes. They've done one qualifying thing. We don't want them to do it.
They're
But by the letter of the law,
ridiculous.
they've qualified.
Exactly.
At this point, did they like say Eddie the Eagle could compete?
I didn't see anything.
Because I know there was controversy about him being allowed to compete as well. So maybe there was just pressure from like both ends, or if you let one, then the other got in. I don't know.
Well, they had some help from Prince Albert of Monaco, who reminded the committee that the Jamaicans had met the conditions of qualifying and should be allowed to compete. Now, Prince Albert of Monaco, you're thinking, why the hell is this guy standing up for the Jamaicans? He was also there to compete in bobsledding.
No way.
Yeah. He competed in the two-man event. He actually finished 25th overall.
Wow. Who was his partner?
Some Monacoan.
Monakees.
Yeah, some other
Monegasque,
guy.
I think.
Monegasque, actually. I think you're right.
But it is funny because when I was looking at the Olympic records, it doesn't have a picture for anyone. It just says it's got their flag and the country, and then it's a little Olympic symbol in grey, and then their name. The Prince Albert of Monaco, he was the only one that had a photo there.
I guess, you're royalty.
But I mean, not even the people that won.
They're not royalty.
I mean, if you win an Olympic gold, you're in a special echelon, I think.
I think it's funny, though. Like, nah, we're not going to let these, like, fit, like, soldiers enter. Like, what a farce. What's that, Prince? We should let them in? Oh, okay. We'll listen to the Prince. Well, like, he's competing.
Yeah, and this was the Prince's first Olympics. He went on to compete in 4 other Olympics in bobsled.
Does he
Good
win a
on
medal?
him. Like, anyone who competes in 5 Olympics, like,
You
that's
gotta-
an achievement on its
Yeah.
own.
There's a whole story right here. A wild sports story of the Prince.
Yeah, I'm just stuffing it in there.
We could do someone like the royalty in sports. Because I know F1 had a king or a prince who competed back when you could just show up and race. So we could do all the royalty that compete in sports.
That's a good story. I'll write it down. Fitch also said that he thought they were going to be banned because you think they're a bunch of clowns, he said, of the IOC. But thanks to the Prince's help, they're allowed to compete. And now this is where, a week out from competing, that they decide to not just enter the 2-man event, but to also enter the 4-man event.
How are they allowed to do that if they didn't qualify for that?
And there's only 3 of them.
Yeah.
All great
Again,
questions.
the Prince on their
All
team.
great questions. So they didn't have a 4th man, and they didn't have a sled. And there's a great quote from Fitch. Let me just point out 3 problems immediately. 1, you've never competed in a 4. 2, I'm totally out of money, and no one is going to loan us a sled. And 3, I only count 3 guys sitting in the room. So a couple issues there. I can't answer the qualifying question. They were just allowed to compete. Maybe because they were already there. Maybe because the Princes put in a good word for them. But they were allowed to compete in the 4-man.
I think I'm seeing triple. 9 bobsled sports people.
As for getting the bobsled, a team lent them one of their old ones. Which country do you think would have lent another competitor
Not Monaco.
a bobsled? They'd have the money for it.
I don't think the USA.
Well, there's
Canada, probably.
there's the connection with Fitch as a US like commerce relations.
I guess
thing.
so. But it's
it
like,
could be the US.
I think the obvious one is Canada, but that seems too obvious.
I feel like it's going to be somewhere like out of left field.
Argentina.
It's not out of left field.
Okay,
I'm going to say it's Austria because they went and competed in Austria and they went, hey, they're actually good enough. We're going to give them the shot. My guess is Austria.
It's not a bad guess, but Carlin's right. Yeah. It was Canada, straight down the middle. Oh, you need a sled, eh? Oh, have a sled. Oh, you want to take one of our competitors too? And some maple syrup on the hoose?
Oh, you need another guy to race.
Yeah. Well, good luck out there. Classic Canada, helping him out. And then, as for the 4th man, this is where Chris Stokes enters, Dudley's brother. So Chris was currently a sprinter at the University of Idaho, and he had dreams of being an Olympian. Not in bobsled, but in sprinting. He was actually in Calgary a week before the event to come and watch his brother compete. Hey, it's awesome. My brother's at the Olympics. Let's go watch. He'd never seen a bobsled before. And they thought, well, we need an extra guy. Let's bring Chris in.
Well, I don't blame him. I don't think many Jamaicans before they transplanted a team that had ever seen one either.
Yeah. But these 3 guys that were already going to be competing, they'd at least had 4 months of intense training on a bobsled. So they gave Chris a 1-week crash course in how
Crash
bobsledding
course.
works. Yeah.
Do they show him
Literally.
that video?
To be
of all
fair.
the
Yeah.
people?
As long as you can like sit down, shut up, listen, you can be a crewmate. I'm assuming like they didn't put the guy on brakes, did they?
No.
This story is just telling me that we could go on a bobsled. If we had a brake person and a driver, we could be like the third and fourth person in it.
We can give it a go. Let us know at Wildest Sport Pod if you want to see us try and bobsled.
Or if you are a bobsled team and for PR want to put one of us in a bobsled.
Maybe as well you're a bobsled team, but oh no, you only have 3 people and you need one of us to fill the spot, you know? Just
compete.
yeah.
The other thing was Chris wasn't part of the official Olympic delegation.
So you're not allowed to compete.
Well, Devon quoted saying, I imagine Fitch used a couple bottles of Jamaican rum to persuade them for the proper accreditation. So Chris was allowed in. I think this is the late 80s. It's obviously the Olympics, but it's not quite what we have now. And as well, this team was never going to come and win.
Well,
I think if you maybe one of the top teams subbing in, subbing out.
like how we were talking about last episode, the some of the I guess like Winter Olympic things weren't quite so hammered down as the Summer Olympics things had been since the resurgence of the Summer Olympics. So I feel like, you know, there's some flexible rules.
Yeah.
I just don't like the precedent that sets like, yeah, as long as you're not going to win and you're not good enough, we don't care. But if their complaint before is it's a clown show, then going, hey, we don't have enough people for the team, we're bringing in a random person. Or a
Hey, he's the
sibling,
brother.
a sibling of someone in our team, just feels like, you know, the argument of going, oh, it should be fine because they're not going to win anyway. Like, I feel like that's just a pretty poor excuse.
So we now get to the actual event itself. So first was the 2-man event, and that was Dudley Stokes as the driver and Michael White as the brakeman, and that's all you have in the 2-man. Their first run, they were 34th out of 41. After their second run, they were 22nd out of 41.
All I'm thinking, and I don't even know if these numbers are right because you said Dudley, but it's like, is it like 41? I was like, 41. I counted them myself. It's like, last year there was 42. Like, what are the numbers of
It's
that?
37.
There we go. I was thinking 26, 27, but then you said 41 or something about it. Felt
Well,
right.
it's actually, Dudley gets 36 presents, but last year he had 37. So they'll buy him
36
2
or
new
7.
presents. So the third run, they finished 31st out of 41. And then after their final run, they finished 30th out of 41 teams.
It'd be embarrassing to lose to. If I lost to them in that, I'd be going. I guess no. For this 2-man team, they didn't have to bring in the brother, so you can't really complain about that.
So the teams they beat a New Zealand team, the second New Zealand team. New Zealand had 2 teams. Bulgaria, Taipei, 2 Portuguese teams, 2 US Virgin Island teams. One of them did not finish. Mexico.
That's very interesting. US Virgin Island. I feel like that's even more strange than Jamaica for
Yeah.
bobsledding.
And having
And
two
they had
teams
2, yeah.
as well.
A USA team and a Japanese team that did not finish as well. So some teams that you're going, oh, they bobsled, but then
So this 2-man bobsled, that's their own bobsled, or they
Yeah.
had to borrow a 2 and a 4?
no, that's the 2-man that they had.
Okay.
So the one they've been training with, the event that they were actually training for. But then we get to the 4-man event, the event that only a week before they started actually training for, because it's a completely different thing having 2 guys and 4 guys in it. Also with a guy that has only just started learning bobsled, with 3 other guys that have only been doing it 4 months.
Bobsled question. Is the 2-man or the 4-man considered like the better discipline?
The better discipline.
Like, well, you've got
What's
like
more common?
the 100-meter sprint and then the 4x100 relay. Since it's a single sport, it's okay. The 100 meters better, but like for rowing, is it the 2s, 4s, or 8s? Like which one's the most impressive?
I think it comes down to personal preference. I can't say I'm a bobsled aficionado. It's something I enjoy to watch at the Olympics, but it's not the top of my, the bobsled's on, I got to check that one out. Personally, I think the 4's cooler because you're adding extra elements
Probably go
of
faster
people
as
in
well.
it. You got more people pushing as well. So the 4-man event. What helped their publicity of their story I'm not saying this was the driving factor. They were already a feel-good story of Jamaica's at the Olympics, the Winter Olympics.
The US Virgin
The
Islands.
islands, yeah.
But what helped was Team USA in the ice hockey was eliminated early, to the surprise of everyone, including TV broadcasters. So to fill that time slot, they decided, hey, the Jamaican Bobsled team's going. Let's put them on. And this is in the 80s. They had, TV rights. You're able to watch the Olympics internationally. But it's not how we have now, where you can watch every discipline, every event, everything that happens in the Olympics, you can see it at the touch of your fingers whenever you want. They didn't have that then. It was what the TV people decided to show. And so they decided to show the Jamaican Bobsled team. So their first run, they came 24th out of 27, and the push bar broke when Dudley jumped in. So if you've ever seen bobsled, there's bars that they're holding on the side to push it to get the start going. One of them broke getting in, so it was a bit awkward, lost a bit of speed, and so that's why they came 24th.
They're kind of like the American school bus little stop sign that swings out.
Yeah.
You push it and you climb in and pull it.
Yeah,
closed.
it folds back in, so it's not bouncing along on the walls.
So it's like equipment at a gym sort of
So,
thing. Hey,
yeah,
you fold it
The
out.
Canadians sabotage them with a broken sled.
Yeah, those dastardly Canadians. It was their old one. It's not one they were
Don't
using.
worry about it.
On their second run, they finished 26 out of 27, and that was partly because White struggled to get down properly into the bobsled, and so he was sitting upright for most of the ride when you'd normally want to be, down low to the ground for wind resistance and aerodynamics. So that didn't help. They were in second last place. Then we get to the third run. I explained before that you do 2 runs on day 1, 2 runs on day 2. So the third run, the 13th of February, 1988, almost 38 years ago today. If you're listening when this episode drops, I think it's Friday, is the 13th. Ooh. Scary.
I'm kind of like another bobsled question. Maybe I should have thought this before, but are the tracks always the same?
No. So they build different tracks. It's sort of like race tracks in
Right.
in F1 where the same track. Melbourne is the same track every year, but
and
it's
you'd have
not
a
the same
record
as
for
another
the track,
around
but you
the
don't
world.
necessarily have global records for bobsled because it's different on each track.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
okay.
all roughly have the same amount of elements.
Right.
But it's
There's probably I'm thinking dressage, like the horse events, it's race jumping. It's okay. There's a certain number of triple
Turns
jumps,
and
doubles,
this and
and
that, yeah.
loops, and elements or tricks that come into it. There's probably 1 tunnel or 3 30-degree banks or something like that.
So I don't have the information of how this happened, but Dudley Stokes, the driver, he injured his shoulder between day 1 and day 2, but he kept racing. He wasn't going to stop. And when they pushed off, they had the 7th fastest push off in the competition overall. So over the 4 runs, this one that they had for the third was the 7th fastest.
So basically, they're really strong, but they just have awful technique.
Well, they weren't pushing
they
this
just got into
fast
the
for
rhythm.
all of them. They got into the rhythm. That's another
In the
bit
rhythm,
of movie.
in the rhyme.
Yeah, another bit of movie magic.
that's
They
cool.
didn't actually say that before going. They didn't have a cool catchphrase or anything. They were locked in a lot more than that. So at turn 8, named Cressel, it's a 365-degree sharp turn. So not a loop-the-loop 360, but you go back in on yourself. So it's a really sharp turn. Stokes lost control of it, going at roughly 85 miles per hour, 135, and they hit the wall. They thought, okay, well, not great to hit the wall. You want to be coming out, not quite on it, but we'll come out and swing, maybe just touch the other wall, and then we'll be right again. But after hitting the wall, they flipped, and they slid for several hundred meters with their heads against the ground.
Ouch.
It looks really horrific, and it's very famous footage, but they all walked away okay. It'd be a really hard watch if you didn't know what happened to them, but watching it knowing that they're all safe, it takes away a little bit of that gut feeling of, oh my God.
I wonder how much bobsled teams focus on neck strength. because if you're like heads grinding against it, you'd want a strong neck so you don't get it bent the wrong way. Like again, to bring back F1, they train their neck strength to then focus like the G forces. But if I knew that my head was going to be squished against the ground and I'm sitting in my position, you'd probably want a strong neck to
you have to like
lean.
I'm leaning right now around the mic, so like, but it's like, you're leaning side to side, so there would be heaps of like, especially under those speeds, like you're saying. I think the corners will have similar G forces to F1.
Yeah, 365-degree turn at 80 k's an hour. That's probably going to be a pretty.
It was 85 miles an hour.
85 miles. That's 130 k's.
And you're not even just like in F1
G-force.
trying to like say locked in and like
And
focused.
you don't have
like
the same,
you're literally
like,
leaning
F1, you've got
to
like
control.
the hands device, like cables are connected to your helmet and things to stop your head turning too quickly.
Yeah, none of that. And so another thing that the movie's embellished a little bit, you said at the start, Ben, the scene where they get up and they carry their bobsled over the line. It's not really how it happened. Thinking about how heavy a bobsled is.
It inspired from them crashing?
It's inspired. So they did crash. That really happened. They did crash. And they did walk to the end, to the finish line. And a support crew pushed the bobsled with them. And they were actually really upset and embarrassed about it. In the movie, it's this big triumphant, well, we crashed, but we're still going to go over the line anyway. And they're sort of happy that they did it like that. Not the real life story. They were embarrassed. They just crashed on the world stage at the Olympics. Because we know, and deep down they probably knew they weren't really going to compete. But you don't just go to the Olympics to mess around. You go there to compete. You go there to win. And they didn't do that job. So a quote from Devon, we weaved, and the next thing I knew, my head was hitting the ice. Talking about the crash. Just out of nowhere. That's how it happened. Just blink of an eye. And then they're getting up, all embarrassed and upset. Most people would think if you crashed, you'd be worried about your life. Not in this instance. I was at the Olympic Games, and there were so many people who thought we didn't belong there, and now we'd crashed, and we'd given credence to their argument. That's what I felt skating all the way down the track. So imagine that, like 20 seconds skating on your head. You're not thinking about, oh my God, am I going to survive? You're thinking, well, this is embarrassing. I've just let down Jamaica. Everyone's laughing at me now.
Real military guys. They're just like, oh, I'm just more embarrassed now.
I'm thinking like things in this whole story way more embarrassing than you crashed, because we had in the two-man, you had Japan DNF because they crashed presumably, and there was another one that crashed. It's like people crash, it happens. So
still, people score own goals in football. It doesn't make it any less embarrassing when the next guy does it.
Yeah, but when you're not potentially risking your life, scoring an own goal.
Yeah, it's not life or death.
Yeah.
Oh well, rip that Colombian guy.
The one that scored the penalty and got executed?
What?
He missed. He didn't score.
Oh,
That's why they killed him. He
Oh,
scored an
was
own goal and they killed him.
Oh, no, another one where someone was meant to miss a penalty and they scored it and then they were executed because like the mob had bet on the game for it. And like he scores and he is like in tears and he's inconsolable. And his family's like shown crying and things.
How did he score the penalty when he was trying
He
to
meant to
miss?
sky it and just hit it top bins.
Don't try and sky it, just roll it along the ground.
Well, you can't make it look too obvious.
If the mob's got enough power that they can bet on the game and murder him and there's no repercussions. I'm not victim blaming here, but
Yeah,
You
just
deserve
get it off
to
to
be
the
murdered.
side.
yeah, I'm not saying he deserves to be murdered, but it's a lot easier to miss a penalty than it is to score it. Like, why you sky it that way? Sky it that way. Like, anyway, what the movie sort of did get right though, it wasn't triumphant for the bobsled competitors, but the crowd, they were cheering and they were all behind them. And so when they got to the end, one guy came up and shook Devon's hand, and then someone else did, and someone else did. Eventually they were getting pats on the back and being cheered out of it because it was just such a heartwarming, feel-good story that everyone just got around them.
In the movie, wasn't there like the team that's like, you don't belong here? And then they do that and they go, well done, guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
You've
That
done
was
enough.
hammed up. The Devon and Dudley and Chris and Michael have all said that, no, everyone was really amicable and nice towards us. There was no, you guys don't belong here or anything like that from a lot of the other competitors. There was the odd person here or there, but it was mainly the overall feeling that they had and the IOC saying, no, we are not going to let you compete.
I guess as well, if you're doing a sport like, same as like ski jumping for Eddie the Eagle, risking your life or serious injury to compete then kind of gives you like, okay, if you're willing to take these risks, I'm not going to be an asshole to you. If it's the curling, you've never played before, you don't belong here. That there's no risk really involved, but it can be a detriment where you go, hey, yeah, they're risking their lives the same as me. It's actually more dangerous for them because they don't know what they're doing. Probably not going to...
Like Marge and Homer competed at the Olympics in curling.
They did, and then Marge broke her wrist.
I was going to say, it reminds me of Bobby Gibbs, how it's like, you know, everyone, like, obviously the committee didn't want her to race, but, like, everyone there was fairly accepting, like, you know, the actual races and everything. So it's nice that the actual sports people are more accepting than the mean, like, committee board people.
Yeah. Oh, that was a reception at the Olympics. What about at home? Dudley thought Jamaicans would be angry and embarrassed, but he said they treated them like heroes. The government put out stamps with their face on it. Everyone was cheering and loved them. They were able to sign all these sponsorship deals. And Dudley, Chris, and Michael competed in the four-man in the 1992 Olympics, so the very next Olympics. Devon Harris didn't compete in the four-man. And then the Stokes brothers, Dudley and Chris, competed again in the four-man in the 94 and 98 Olympics.
Sharing the stage with greatness.
So that's going to 4 Olympics. I know you said competing at 5 is impressive, but going to 4 is...
Yeah, four's I guess it also depends on your sport for like how much you can stay at the peak of your powers. Like Olympics and World Cups, but like Timmy Cahill going to as many. It's like, okay, no other Aussie's done that before. And, you know, I guess your physical prime, you know, different sports require different things for it. But yeah, 4 Olympics is still pretty impressive.
Yeah, Dudley and Chris competed in the 2-man at 92, as well as the 4-man. Dudley again in 94, and Devon Harris in the 2-man in 92 and 98. And after retiring from the sport, Chris Stokes is now the president of the Jamaican Bobsled Federation.
Nice ring to it. The Jamaican Bobsled Federation.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. They're my favourite bobsled federation. Dudley Stokes and Devon Harris are both motivational speakers and have both written books. And Michael White has moved out of the spotlight and he now works in retail in New York.
Curious.
So they all went on to compete in multiple Olympics.
They loved it that much, I guess.
Did Chris Stokes ever make the like Summer Olympics as a runner?
No. Gave up his running and focused on the bobsledding.
Probably easier to qualify.
Oh yeah, once you're in and everyone loves them. And it's spurred on Jamaican bobsledding now. So Jamaica's continued to compete after these 4 had done their last one in 98. Jamaica returned for the 2002 Winter Olympics, 2014 and 2022 in the 2-man. And 2022 was their first time back since 98 in the 4-man. And they will compete in the 4-man, the 2-man, and the 2-woman at the Olympic Games. The bobsled begins on the 12th of February. So tomorrow, if you're listening to this today. And so that first women's team, this is going to be their second Olympics. They competed in 2018 in the 2-woman one. Jamaica recently has improved a lot in their bobsledding as well. They won their first bobsled international gold at the qualifiers in Calgary in November 2025. They beat the USA and Canada.
Have they gotten a medal at the Olympics yet?
Haven't got an Olympic medal yet, but you never know.
Do they consider the like COP in Calgary to be the like home field?
Don't know. I think they might though.
That's pretty like, you know.
I would. I mean, it's the most historic ground.
Does the Jamaican Bobsled Federation have a like
an office
shoot a bobsled track? No idea.
No idea.
Okay.
No idea. Maybe.
Probably not because of how much ice and stuff you need. Maybe it's just like a...
You just share it.
Or like a just concrete, like one for like wheeled carts. I don't know.
Didn't look it up.
Bobsled
Didn't think about it. Yeah. And so they won gold in that event. Shane Pitter, Andre Dacrez, Junior Harris, and Taekwondo Tracy in the 4-man, and they'll be going to compete in a couple of days' time. and then bronze in the 2 women event at the same qualifiers, Micah Moore and Chloe Wiley.
So they're some of the best bobsledders in the world now.
They're winning the qualifiers, getting bronze in it, so we'll have to see how they go. 12th February is when bobsled starts. And they're also inspiring other nations that you might not think of being
Like the
bobsled.
American Virgin Islands.
Yes, Virgin Islands.
No, Nigeria.
Oh.
Yeah, I wouldn't have expected that. You're right.
They competed at their first Olympics in 2018. They recently competed in a World Cup event as well, and they will be returning to the 2026 games. And in that 2018 event, Nigeria, they came 20th out of 20. In 19th was the Jamaican 2-woman team, 19 out of 20. So down there together. But this isn't a story about winning. Winning isn't always everything. It's about competing and
Winning the chance.
facing the adversity of getting there.
Okay, another question. Did the original Jamaican bobsled team get like military honors for competing? Did they get like a bravery award? or anything?
In an interview I watched with Devon, he didn't show off any military award honours he got, but he did show his Olympic participation medal, because all Olympians get one of them. And
Didn't
he was
actually
pretty
know
proud
that.
of that. Yeah.
You get they get the tattoos often. Like if you go to the Olympics, normally you get the rings. But I guess a trophy would be cool.
Yeah. So that's the story of the real 1988 Jamaican bobsled team. 1% of it transferred over into Cool Runnings movie. So which one do you think, Carlin, you maybe can't answer because you haven't seen it, but which story do you think's cooler, Ben? The Cool Runnings Disney version or the real life bobsled team?
Probably the Disney version, I think.
Boo.
Just like cooler. Go, okay, having the military come in, I think is less cool than someone who was going to qualify for the Olympics and then gets, falls over or trips or whatever happened at the start of the movie to miss out and then goes, I need to find a way, I'm going to organize it myself. It's cooler than, you've been...
I mean, they changed it for a reason. Like,
Yeah.
it is. I feel like just hearing about it, it sounds like a better setup. But realistically, I feel like they could make a whole sequel.
I think it's
with US
pretty
Virgin
awesome,
Islands or
awesome
Nigeria.
to then be like, the idea of going, hey, your new orders are train bobsled and compete at the Olympics.
So yes, sir. Well,
Yeah.
I guess that's how it stacks up with the real story for you. But let's see where it stacks up on our wild and mild ranking board when we come back from a quick break. Welcome back to the Wild World of Sport podcast. This is the first time you're listening. This is the part of the show where we talk through and rank on our very scientific, to all my friends, wild and mild ranking board.
And if you don't know who To All My Friends are,
What are you doing? You're living under a rock.
Yeah. Or
We talk about it all the time.
yeah, we do. We do talk about it all the time. Where else would you be living where you haven't heard of them?
Well-
Southside.
Jamaica,
Yeah.
maybe.
Well, we're international, so everyone should know about To All My Friends. Cook shops, go and check them out. Great selection of beers that they help provide for us when we're cracking a couple. Great pizzas as well. They didn't help with the scientific metrics that we have to rank this, that we won't get into full detail of.
They help like indirectly from the beers.
Oh, of course.
Like the beers help me rank. It gives me the power.
Well, let's see how it helps you rank this one. You can start us off, Carlin. Where does Jamaican Bobsled 88 go on the board?
So I think like the interesting thing here is like obviously we've started with another very similar story already, and obviously we kind of look at it and start like we're doing our vibes based chucking it on
Yeah.
here, and so it's like how does it weigh up to the other story? I think the crazy thing is like despite them not winning a medal and like you can look at all the adversity or everything, the kind of wild element of it is like obviously the Stephen Redbury story is wild, but this has created like an actual cultural like bobsledding is this huge sport for Jamaicans now, when it just obviously is kind of ridiculous that it should be. So that's sort of like world first thinking and things like that. I think certain bits of it are more wild. It just depends like what metric you're looking at it. But very similar territory, I feel. I actually think I might go slightly less simply because yeah, just some bits of the story are a little bit unremarkable. Like it carries a lot, just the geographic location of Jamaica and how absurd that is. But for the most part, yeah. So I'd say around halfway-ish is my final thought.
I don't disagree with that. I think, yeah, around halfway, if not a little bit lower. It's definitely a wild story, but the craziest element is just Jamaica's getting a bobsled team, and then they change what they're doing a week before and bring in a guy. I think if they had done exceptionally well, that'd really add to the wildness of the story, because that's what helps get, pardon the pun, Stephen Bradbury over the line.
Yeah, and obviously that sticks in our cultural canon as Australians, but we're not all speed skating now because, like, yeah, look at what Stephen Bradbury did, let's go, like, speed skate. We take it generally and go, oh, yep, I'll go do this sport and, like, do that. But it's like, yeah, it is wild and cool how much the Jamaican people have taken on board bobsledding, I feel. That's a core, interesting, wild part of the story.
For me, I think the mythos of like the Disney Cool Runnings version is wilder than the real story. I feel like having the military, like you're being ordered to do this, kind of takes the wildness out of a country that's never done it before, then trying to make it and do things. And the qualifying process being so simple. Wouldn't say easy, because it's not easy to be able to compete at an Olympic level. But I think it just kind of takes something away. And then when I think at this Olympics, we also had Eddie the Eagle, and I know there's the based on a true story for that event as well. I feel like the qualification process was a lot harder, which then gives more credence to like the wildness for me. So I'd say it is below Stephen Bradbury, but I think probably around 45 to 50% is a fair thing to do. The other thing that I think brings it down just slightly for me is if it was just Jamaica and all European countries, and they were just the outlier. But we also had
you guys were getting more excited about the US Virgin Islands than you were Jamaica.
Because it's insane.
That's also like such a small region of the world. They probably have the backing of the US. But like you go, okay,
even
that's a
more
country
bizarre.
I wouldn't think of doing it either. Or like Nigeria, I wouldn't think of them to competing in the bobsled or even the Winter Olympics at all. But the bobsled seemed to have a bit more of like an eclectic group of countries competing.
And like as well, yeah, it's like Jamaica obviously unlikely to be in the Winter Olympics, but then you look at US Virgin Islands, it's like Hawaii or something, like sending a bunch of Hawaiians or something, like what, like it's just bizarre. Like US Virgin Islands,
Like
it's so weird.
If like the Samoans had a figure skating team, you'd be like, okay,
What's going on?
Or like Fiji competing in the synchronized swimming, you'd just be like, okay, this is you got my attention.
Yeah.
You go Jamaican Bobsled, that grabs my attention. But when you go, okay, there's other similar countries from similar cultural, geographical locations, it kind of does dampen that degree of wildness for me.
Well, there we go. Should I try and throw it on the board again, seeing as we've only got one on there? All right.
Slide it on. Push it on. Oh,
Oof.
well, that's
no.
not bad.
Oh, no.
Territory.
Oh, yeah.
That's a did not finish right there.
If you're not watching the video, that was very, very low on the wild, below the line. So there it is, just below 50%. The Jamaican bobsled team of 1988 on the board already. Stephen Bradbury. If you haven't checked out that episode, go back. And if this is your first episode, go back to season 1. See all the other crazy, wild stories that we've done. Where can they go and find all those episodes?
Anywhere you listen to your podcast, so Apple Music, or Apple Podcasts, not Apple Music, Spotify. You can check us out on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok as well. It's Wild World of Sport pod.
Yeah, added the pod, new edition for this season.
I think it does clarify. It's good.
Yeah, get the SEO up. There's more than just podcast stuff happening there. There's a bunch of crazy stuff going on. So check us out on the socials. Give a like, give a follow.
Action.
And also,
I'll get it.
Enjoy the Winter Olympics. It only comes around every 4 years, and you never know. Maybe the next Jamaican bobsled team
could be the medal.
Going to happen.
Could be the medal this time.
It could be another sport. It could be the curling. Maybe New Macedonia is going to win the curling.
If you want to watch history, though, you got to jump on and and be watching it at 12 a.m. whenever it's playing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, take 2 weeks off work and rent a treadmill and lock yourself in a basement to watch it all.
Yep.
Do what James does. He has multiple screens.
Oh, heaps of screens. Love it for the sport.
Multi-screening.
And then while you're watching it, put in your earbuds and listen to Wild World Sport.
That's true. You don't need to hear what's going on in the bobsledding. You can see
you can
enough.
just watch.
You can listen to us.
And then while you're there, 5-star review. And if you're watching the Winter Olympics with some other people, tell them to listen to the podcast. Tell your mum, tell your nan, tell your dad, tell your grandpa.
Brothers Hamp, tell them.
Yeah, tell everyone you know. 5 people on the street. Otherwise, the Jamaican Bobsled team will come and get you.
And another great way is if you have pets at home that need some enrichment, leave the pod on.
It's true.
That's a great idea. That's a fantastic idea. Or leave the socials on just again and again and again, going through the
pets
reels.
love to listen to Wild World of Sport pod.
Mm-hmm. Well, wherever you are, you've been a good boy or a good girl for listening. To all the pets. That was to all the pets, not to anyone else.
See,
And to all my friends out there, have a good one. We'll see you next week.
Yep. I've been James Wybrow.
Ben Wybrow, no relation.
I'm Mr. Sled, but that was my father's name. You guys can call me Bob.
Oh, he's good. He's good. He's on a heater to start the season. All right. See you later.
See ya.
Bye. No, I'm just thinking, like, do you reckon we could get, like, a bobsledder, like, someone, like, to drive it, and then do a 4-man bobsled? Like, would that be too dangerous?
I feel like we
With
could
zero training.
do it. Like, yeah,
If
with
we're
a
not
bit of
doing the
training and
driving.
stuff. But it's like, you know, competing and going really quick, then it starts getting a bit sketchy. But I feel like you could
I just
do
like
it.
socially, where they're with bike helmets.
If you could do luge.
There's
and
no
stuff.
social bobsledding.
Yeah,
There's no social sport where you're going 150 kilometers an hour.